Let's start with some stock stories, though. Let's come back to that Tesla one. Dragging on the NASDAQ this morning, Renita. Delivery numbers. Saw even folks like Ross Gerber kind of complaining about it on Twitter. So I guess that means it's got to be a disappointment.
It is. So it's a mixed story because first quarter deliveries were a record for the first quarter. However, the deliveries outpaced the number of vehicles actually produced. And that might be some of the reason why folks are not so enthused about Tesla this morning. It is falling more than 3%. So if we look at deliveries, total deliveries for the first quarter of 2023 came in at almost 423,000. And that would be a 36% increase year over year, but just a 4% increase over the last quarter. And the majority of these sales were the lower priced Model 3 sedan and Model Y crossover. Total production was at 440,000, close to 441,000. And that inflated production was likely due to the fact that Tesla was ramping up production. It started to do that in Shanghai and in other areas, and it has plans to do that in other areas as well. Now, a few analysts are out talking, Barclays, noting that slight beat versus the consensus estimate, but pointing out that this inventory build does continue with about 75,000 units of production over deliveries over the last 3 quarters, right? And that these incremental price cuts, they are likely needed to continue to chip away at that inventory. Bayard reiterated its outperform rating and its $252 price target. Oppenheimer points out that the Model X, Model S deliveries did come in at 60% of the expectations, while production was, however, in line. But the fact that that exists together will highlight questions around actual demand for these models. Meanwhile, Tesla does have a little bad press this morning. It's looking at a story from the New York Times that's saying that a court of appeals issued an opinion it's a federal appeals court on Friday. They issued a finding that Tesla had illegally fired an employee involved in union organizing, and that Elon Musk actually had illegally threatened worker stock options if they choose to unionize. That's bad press, whether it's true or not, right? But this court of appeals approved it, or actually affirmed that it was true. And it allows the National Labor Relations Board to enforce a 2021 ruling that will require Tesla to reinstate this employee to his job with back pay as well, and for Elon Musk to delete the Twitter post.
Right. It feels like there's only one CEO who's we constantly, whenever there's any punishment or news, there's a statement that involves deleting a Twitter post, which is part of the problem, being kind of humorous for a situation that, yeah, you're right, is not good press. And then with the deliveries, it's like the numbers continue to grow. So it's this really clear story in which growth is impressive, but the price action telling us that the market expected some more here, and that the inventory starting to build means that the cuts on the prices are happening for a pretty clear demand reason. It seems like we can now say with some conclusion after there was a lot of debate about that.
That's exactly true. You know, the fact that these production numbers are higher than deliveries, and it just means that maybe demand is not where Elon Musk expected it to be at this point, or wants it to be.
Well, especially right as they get to ramp up all the production in the way that they had promised for a long time, to have all those in place now, ramp up the production, but then the demand slows down and you're sitting on the cars, becomes a pretty tricky issue. Another story real fast, WWE is going to actually get a buyer. Walk us through it real quick.
Yeah, WWE is going to combine with Endeavor, and they want to combine UFC and WWE. That'll be 2 powerhouses coming together. It's about a $21 billion deal. Totally, it'll be valued at that. And at the close, Endeavor is going to hold about 51% of the interest, and then 49% will go to WWE and its shareholders. Together, they're going to have this huge global reach. Of course, we know both of these brands have huge followings, right? I wonder if antitrust concerns will come out. They have 2 clear separate sports franchises, right, that run within them. And they say that they're complementary to one another. They're not in competition. So it shouldn't be a case.
One they actually hit each other, the other don't.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see if that'll happen. But the new company is going to be led by Ariel Emanuel, and Dana White's going to continue his role as president of UFC. Nick Kane will serve as president of WWE. WWE. Together, they're going to expect to deliver an estimated between 50 million and 100 million in the annualized run rate cost synergies. And they're going to leverage the other things as well, back office infrastructure. So I would imagine that there may be some sort of cuts if they're going to leverage the back office of one of these companies over the other, perhaps.
That sounds like
or
cuts.
They find out the strongest players in either back office. So we'll find out what that really means for the company going forward.
Stock's done great anyway throughout this time, so clearly a winner in the entertainment space. We'll see who crosses over. There's been some before, right? Well, I guess Ronda Rousey went over to WWE, but I feel like there's somebody else that did it in the opposite direction. But okay, I prefer the one they don't actually hit each other. I don't know. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Right.
Thanks, Renita Young. Appreciate it.